Hey everyone, glad you're here this end because sometimes the customer isn't always right and they're just unbelievably wrong.
If tipping is a thank you, some people are clearly saying, go to hell. 1. The birthday party. From Financial Purgatory. It started as a 20-person birthday dinner. You know, the kind where everyone orders just appetizers and then proceeds to treat the menu like a tasting festival. The waiter spent 3 hours juggling drink refills, forgotten sauces, and that one uncle who thought medium rare meant charred. When the bill finally came, $612 before tax, the group suddenly became math professors. Everyone began dissecting who had 2 mozzarella sticks and didn't touch the fries. They eventually paid with a stack of singles and coins that looked like a pirate's ransom. The tip? A crisp $5 bill and a note that said, "You should smile more. You'd make better tips." The waiter did smile, mostly because he imagined using that note to start the world's smallest bonfire. 2. The Holy Water Incident. A church group of 12 came in after Sunday service, all wearing matching blessed and highly favored shirts. They were polite at first, lots of "God bless you" and "take your time, honey." But as soon as the food arrived, they turned into Gordon Ramsay's prayer circle. One woman sent back her steak 3 times because the Lord told her it wasn't medium enough. Another insisted her iced tea should be sweetened with faith, not sugar. When the bill came to $280, they left a handwritten note. "We give God 10%, not man." Alongside it sat a shiny quarter and a coupon for half-off rotisserie chicken, expired since 2018. The waiter didn't say a word. He just whispered a silent prayer that their next meal be self-serve. 3. The Venmo Philosopher. One night, a young guy in a designer hoodie finished a $70 meal and told his waiter, "I don't believe in cash tips. It's an outdated system." He launched into a TED Talk about digital economies and financial transparency, ending with, "I'll Venmo you something symbolic." Minutes later, the waiter's phone buzzed. The symbolic tip was $0.01, accompanied by the message, "This penny represents the future of gratitude." The waiter stared at the screen, then stared back at the guy who was already recording a TikTok about educating the service industry. Later, the manager asked what happened, and the waiter said, "I just met the guy who tipped Judas." 4. The all-you-can-eat philosopher King Buffets are supposed to be simple. You eat, you pay, you leave. But one man treated the all-you-can-eat seafood night like a hostage negotiation. After 4 plates of shrimp, he summoned the waiter to announce, "You people need to understand the economics of satisfaction." He complained that the crab legs were too democratic because everyone could reach them. Then, mid-rant, he demanded a personal bowl of melted butter to symbolize individual freedom. When the check came, $34.99, he argued that he'd technically eaten his fair share of the building's property value and therefore should receive a discount. The waiter, maintaining sane-level composure, explained that digestion wasn't a currency. The man tipped exactly 48 cents and wrote 1 cent per shrimp consumed. The waiter framed the receipt as proof that modern philosophy truly is dead. 5. The Gluten-Free Historian. She began with the words every waiter dreads. "I'm not allergic. I'm just spiritually gluten-free." Over the next hour, she sent back 3 plates, lectured the staff on ancient Egyptian bread rituals, and asked if the water was ethically sourced from a non-patriarchal river. When the waiter politely nodded, she sighed and said, "You're clearly not trained in historical empathy." The final straw came when she asked for a refund because the gluten energy in the air ruined my aura. Her $46 check came with a $0 tip and a 10-minute monologue about how money was a colonial construct. The waiter simply replied, "Then consider this meal an artifact." 6. The Tech Bros' Startup Lunch. A table of 4 startup guys came in, wearing matching hoodies that said "Disrupt Everything." They ordered avocado toast, 2 rounds of mimosas, and spent the meal pitching their new app. Something about tipping servers in exposure tokens. When the bill arrived, they explained that they don't do tips, but would instead tag the restaurant on social media. "You'll gain followers," one said, as if followers could pay rent. The waiter smiled, collected their plates, and whispered, "Cool, I'll tag you in my tax return." They left a $0 tip and a business card that said "Founder, Visionary, profit. Later that night, the restaurant's TikTok video titled "How Not to Tip Like a Startup" outperformed their entire company's account by 40,000 views. 7. The Psychic Tipper. A middle-aged woman claimed she could sense who deserved a tip by reading auras. The waiter greeted her with a smile, and she immediately frowned. "Oh no," she said. "Your energy's too blue. Blue people don't manifest abundance." She ordered a coffee, asked for 7 different cream-to-sugar ratios, and then predicted that he'd receive money in another life. When she left, she drew a smiley face on a napkin and said, "That's your karmic tip." Hours later, the waiter found she'd also left her phone number, with "Call me if your chakra realigns." He didn't call, but he did pin the napkin on the staff board under the label "Future Millionaires IOU 8. The family of coupon commanders. They marched in like a suburban army, mom with a binder of coupons, dad with calculator app open, and 2 teenagers embarrassed to exist. Every order had to align with the deal of the day fine print, and every substitution sparked a debate worthy of Congress. After devouring $80 worth of food for $26, the mom waved the bill triumphantly and announced, "We beat the system." The waiter brought the check with quiet dignity, only to receive a single folded coupon as the tip. It was for 10% off oil changes, expired in 2015. As they left, the dad said, "You're lucky. Some places don't even get that." The waiter looked at the coupon, sighed, and muttered, "Neither does my car." 9. The Influencer Apocalypse. She walked in with sunglasses the size of saucers and an entourage of 2 ring lights. "I'm here for brunch and brand synergy," she announced, as if that were a menu item. She made the waiter rearrange the table 3 times because the lighting wasn't spiritually flattering. When her pancakes arrived, she spent 25 minutes filming them instead of eating, complaining that the syrup wasn't glossy enough for content. By the time she finally took a bite, the food was cold. And, naturally, that was the restaurant's fault. When the bill came, she smiled sweetly and said, "I don't really do tipping. My followers are my currency." Then she posted a story tagging the restaurant, misspelled. The waiter replied with their own video. "Influencer eats pancakes colder than her engagement rate." It got 10 times more likes than hers. 10. The Allergy Acrobat. He declared a severe dairy allergy while ordering a cheeseburger with extra cheese. When the waiter gently reminded him, he rolled his eyes. "I'm lactose intolerant in theory," he said. After his meal, he demanded a refund because the theoretical cheese made me uncomfortable. When refused, he staged a dramatic coughing fit and asked if they had an emergency lactose removal protocol. The manager arrived just in time to see him chase his burger with a milkshake from another table. When the check came, he left a single wrapped antacid tablet as his tip, saying, "This is symbolic of my pain." The waiter nodded and said, "Then I'll treasure it forever." Somewhere, a pharmacist felt a sudden chill without knowing why. 11. The 12-Way Split Bill Massacre. It was supposed to be a quick lunch for coworkers. Instead, it turned into a fiscal crime scene. Each person insisted on paying only for their exact order, down to the half fry. "I didn't eat that pickle slice," one woman whispered, guarding her $14.37 like it was a mortgage payment. When the waiter finally split the bill 12 ways, someone still complained about the unfair ketchup distribution. They left a grand total of $4.68 in tips, mostly in nickels. One guy even wrote, "Add me on LinkedIn" in place of a signature, as if networking could balance the books. The waiter spent 15 minutes counting coins and realized the only accurate division was how equally they all deserved public shame. 12. The couple that time forgot. They walked in during lunch rush, ordered 2 waters, and then spent 4 hours having the world's longest breakup. Every 10 minutes, one of them would call the waiter over, just to talk. He refilled their glasses 11 times, watched 3 tables come and go, and heard enough emotional oversharing to qualify for couples therapy certification. When the check of $0 arrived, they smiled weakly and said, "We'd tip, but love's been expensive." They left a pile of damp napkins and a psychic scar that could be seen from orbit. Later, another server found their note on the table. "Thank you for your emotional labor." The waiter kept it as proof that heartbreak apparently comes with itemized billing. 13. The Sauce Philosopher. He ordered chicken tenders and immediately began a 20-minute monologue about sauce ratios. "You can't understand flavor," he told the waiter, "until you've dipped evenly." He requested 5 sauces for research purposes, then spent the meal ranking them out loud like he was judging a wine tasting. When asked how everything was, he sighed deeply and said, "Your ranch lacks existential purpose." The final blow came when he returned the honey mustard, claiming it tasted too confident. His total was $18.47. He tipped 47 cents because, as he explained, tipping is an arbitrary social construct, much like ketchup. The waiter nodded and thought, "So is your personality." 14. The entitled Yelp Avenger. Before ordering, she warned, "I'm a Yelp elite, so treat me accordingly." The staff did, politely, efficiently, and with the kind of suppressed rage found only in customer service. She sent back her drink twice for being insufficiently emotional and took 47 photos of the menu for transparency. When she finally paid, she left no tip but promised, "You'll get exposure." The next day, her 1-star review appeared online. Waiter blinked too often, felt insincere. The restaurant responded with a public thank you. "We're so glad you noticed our blinking. It's a new hydration initiative." Her review mysteriously vanished within hours, but the staff framed it next to the bar, right beside a tip jar labeled "Yelp Can't Pay Rent." 15. The $100 Bill Illusionist. A man dined alone, ordered the most expensive steak, and bragged loudly about his generosity. "Don't worry," he told the waiter, patting his wallet. "You'll remember me tonight." When the bill came, he placed a $100 bill on the table and left dramatically. The waiter smiled, until realizing it was a movie prop, complete with the words "for motion picture use only." By the time they ran outside, he was gone, vanished like a magician who specialized in disappointment. Later that night, the staff used the fake bill to label the broom closet the banker's suite. The waiter joked, "At least now I can say I've been tipped by Hollywood." 16. The "I knew the owner" ghost. This guy walked in like he was returning to a kingdom he once ruled. "I used to know the owner," he said before he even sat down, as if that granted him diplomatic immunity from tipping. He name-dropped a man who hadn't owned the place since the Clinton administration, demanded a legacy discount, and insisted the menu used to have more soul. The waiter smiled, mostly because that owner had died in 2003. After eating an entire rack of ribs and 2 beers, he handed over a $60 check and a single dollar. "Tell the new guy I'll take care of him next time," he said. The waiter nodded and replied, "I'll pass your message to the spirit realm." Later, the staff unofficially renamed his seat the Table of Delusion. 17. The wine snob who couldn't taste humility. He arrived in a velvet blazer and demanded a wine list worthy of his palate. When the waiter suggested a local Cabernet, he scoffed so hard the air temperature dropped 3 degrees. "I only drink wines that have stories," he said, as though the grapes had to have been handpicked by orphans under a blood moon. He swirled, sniffed, and announced, "This smells like betrayal." The bottle cost $85. He left a $2 tip and a half-finished glass, muttering that the tannins were emotionally dishonest. The waiter later poured the leftovers into a staff glass, took a sip, and said, "Tastes like unemployment with a hint of ego." It was, by all accounts, the most accurate review of the night. 18. The 911 salad emergency. A woman called the restaurant 30 minutes after leaving, furious. "Your salad tried to kill me," she said. The waiter, confused, asked if she had an allergy. "No," she replied, "but the lettuce was looking at me funny." She then demanded the restaurant send someone to remove it from her house because she couldn't stand the judgmental energy. When told that lettuce isn't mobile, she escalated, threatening to call 911. Minutes later, a police dispatcher called the restaurant laughing. "Did y'all serve a telepathic salad?" The waiter sighed, "Only the usual kind." The next morning, the same woman posted a 1-star review saying, "Great food, hostile produce." The staff agreed. That salad had better communication skills than she did. 19. The mystery diner who reviewed in real time. A man in a trench coat sat alone, typing furiously into his laptop between every bite. When the waiter asked what he was working on, he said, "Your Yelp review, live." Every napkin fold, every refill, documented. He even timed how long it took for ketchup to arrive. The staff began moving like contestants in a cooking show under surveillance. When he finished eating, he whispered, "You'll see my verdict soon," and left without tipping. Hours later, his review went up. Service was good until they looked nervous. 2 stars. The next day, the waiter left his own review under the restaurant's account. Customer wore a trench coat in July. 1 star. It became the most liked comment of the week. 20. The "It's my cheat day" warrior. She came in wearing gym gear and a face full of determination. "Today's my cheat day," she announced like it was a national holiday. She ordered a double cheeseburger, fries, a milkshake, and then asked if the bun was low-calorie bread. Midway through the meal, she began a full motivational speech to herself. "You earned this, queen," loud enough for neighboring tables to applaud ironically. When the bill came, she sighed and said, "I can't tip. I'm cheating on my budget too." She left behind a protein bar and a note, "Stay strong." The waiter added it to the lost and found under unwanted encouragement. Hours later, someone ate the bar by accident and said it tasted like guilt and peanut butter. 21. The human Yelp suggestion box. He walked in with a clipboard, always a bad sign. "I'm here to help you improve," he said before even ordering. He rated the hostess's smile, the waiter's posture, and the air temperature like he was auditing a spaceship. He asked for a medium rare burger, then measured it with a digital thermometer. After his meal, he pulled out a printed feedback sheet and said, "I don't tip, I evaluate." The waiter glanced at the paper. It had scores out of 10 for menu rhythm and emotional sincerity. The total tip, 0. The total patience spent on him, infinite. When he finally left, the manager wrote a new rule on the staff board. Clipboards are now treated as weapons. Everyone agreed. It was self-defense. 22. The refill revolutionary. He considered himself a freedom fighter for beverage equality. The moment his soda glass hit halfway, he raised it high like the Statue of Liberty's torch. "Free refills are my constitutional right," he declared to the entire dining room. After his 7th refill, the waiter gently mentioned that soda refills stopped being free 10 years ago. His jaw dropped like someone had canceled Christmas. "This is corporate oppression," he whispered, before demanding the manager and reciting parts of the Bill of Rights, none of which mentioned Dr. Pepper. When the bill came, he scribbled, "No refill, no tip" across the receipt and stormed out. The waiter calmly poured the man's half-finished soda into the staff's cleaning bucket and said, "Finally, a refill with purpose." 23. The vegan detective. She ordered a veggie burger but stared at it like it was planning a crime. "This looks too convincing," she said. For the next 20 minutes, she interrogated the waiter like a courtroom prosecutor. "Are you sure this isn't meat? Did you see it born?" She took a bite, gasped dramatically, and accused the restaurant of psychological carnivory. When the waiter offered to replace it, she said, "Too late. My body's in moral shock." The bill came to $14.99, and she tipped 99 cents, 1 cent for every doubt she had left. Later, she left a Yelp review that said, "Their food tastes exactly like meat, which is unforgivable." The waiter commented, "We'll pass your compliments to the plants." 24. The date who ordered regret. It was a first date that felt like a hostage situation. The guy spent the evening critiquing the waiter's every move as a lesson in service excellence for his companion, who looked ready to tunnel through the wall. When the waiter accidentally dropped a fork, the man snapped, "If this were my company, you'd be fired." The woman quietly mouthed, "If this were my life, I'd be gone." After dessert, he told the waiter, "I'm teaching her how tipping reflects character." Then he left a tip of 50 cents on a $90 bill. The woman doubled it when he went to the restroom, then added her phone number with a note. "You deserve someone who tips better than this." For once, karma worked fast. 25. The buffet bandit. He treated the all-you-can-eat buffet like a competitive sport. He timed his plate runs with a stopwatch, brought Tupperware for leftovers, and accused other diners of stealing his shrimp quota. When the waiter told him takeout wasn't allowed, he quoted Sun Tzu, "The buffet is war." He hid fried chicken in his jacket pocket and tried to smuggle crab legs out under a napkin hat. When security stopped him, he shouted, "You can't tax appetite," and fled, dropping drumsticks like breadcrumbs. The next day, he returned for lunch. acting as if nothing happened. The waiter smiled and said, "Welcome back, General Toe." He didn't tip, of course, but the staff swore the sound of rustling foil still haunted that table. 26. The Forgotten Birthday Hero. A table of 12 came to celebrate a friend's birthday. They ordered everything: steaks, cocktails, a $40 cake the waiter personally set up with sparklers. When the bill came, they all forgot their wallets. One promised to Venmo later. Another said, "I thought this was covered by the birthday fund." By the time they left, only the waiter had paid, through sheer stress and lost faith in humanity. The next day, one of them actually returned to fix it, handing over a Starbucks gift card with $2.37 left on it. "Sorry, we're saving for next year's trip." The waiter smiled, pocketed it, and said, "Great, I'll buy myself half a coffee to celebrate surviving you." 27. The Quantum Tipper. He claimed to be a mathematical genius, which is never a good omen for service workers. After his meal, he began calculating his tip using advanced probability equations. He scribbled numbers, muttered about inflation, and declared that tipping was a social illusion. "If you think about it," he said, "in another universe, I tipped generously." He then wrote plus infinity on the receipt and signed it, Dr. Quantum. The total tip, of course, was 0. The waiter stared at the paper and said, "Cool, I'll spend that in another universe too." Later, the manager framed the receipt under a sign that read, "Parallel Universe, Parallel Bills." Somewhere out there, maybe Dr. Quantum actually did the right math. Humanity doesn't need higher tips. It needs basic math, empathy, and indoor voices.